Hello, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Stevie, this is Stevie Reads, and today we are doing a cheeky little book haul. Not too many books this time. Proud of me for that. I just counted and it's 20, and it's been 2 months since I've done a book haul, so 20 books in 2 months is actually pretty good for me. Starting off with a dark romance, Phantom by Greer Rivers. Yes, this is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. I love Phantom of the Opera. Me and my mom rewatch the musical all the time. My only beef with that movie is your girlie doesn't end up with the Phantom. But this is a dark romance and I just wanted to give everything I've been missing from the movie. But I love retellings. Going into a book already knowing the world and the characters and everything means you get to just jump right into the story. So very, very, very excited to start this one. Next up we have God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is the first Rena Kent book I've ever bought, but I do have another one later in the haul. Again, another dark romance. I bought these 2 books together, so I was clearly just in the mood. But this one is rivals to lovers, I think, because there's a line that says, it doesn't matter that their schools are rivals or that their families have been enemies since before they were born. Very Romeo Juliet. And people have hyped up this series. I think it's the 3rd one that everybody adores, but I've been curious about this author, so picked up the first. And then we are knocking out 5 books at once. I hauled the entire Spindle Cove series by Tessa Dare. Thrift Books is very dangerous because I went on there just to see if they had the original old historical covers of these, and they were so cheap that I just immediately bought the entire series. So first one is A Night to Surrender, A Week to be Wicked, A Lady by Midnight, Any Duchess Will Do, and finally, Do You Want to Start a Scandal? So I am currently just in my Tessa Dare era. Last year I read The Wallflower Wager, loved it, and then 2 weeks ago I read the entire Stud Club trilogy. I'll link that video down below. But next up is Spindle Cove. So I'm going to say this about all these books, but obviously I just bought them. I'm really excited to read them. And then we've got a brand new release, Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I'm obsessed with the paperback. Like, oh my god, these sprayed edges. And you can like feel the water droplets. Love the design. But also I'm becoming a bigger fan of Ali Hazelwood. I didn't really care about her original Steminist series, but I read Bride, gave that 4 stars, and then read Not in Love. That one was a 3.5. I thought it was pretty dramatic for what it was. But this is a romance between a competitive diver and a swimmer. I feel like it would be the perfect summer romance, so I'm saving this until it gets really warm. But Ali Hazelwood's most recent books are on the up for me, and I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Next up is a book I have already read, The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Also read this in a video. It was me trying to find a new favorite author, and spoiler alert for that video, Lane Fargo is a new favorite. This book was 5 stars. Oh my god. This is a romance book between a figure skating couple. It spans many years because they meet when they're kids and then they go to the Olympics when they're old enough, and it's one of those romance books where yes, it technically is categorized as a romance, but it's not very romantic. These 2 characters are so toxic, and Katarina, our main girl, will always care about figure skating and getting a gold medal over anything else. Very Carrie Soto, so if you liked that, highly recommend. But wow, Lane Fargo does it again. And the title was dead on. The Favorites was one of my top 10 favorite books this year. Like, oh my god, pick this up. This next one's hard to describe. I haven't read it yet. Planning to very soon. I've heard it described as a sci-fi dystopian horror, but also contemporary, like literary writing. Anyway, I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I picked this up because of Caitlin's Patreon book club. I think it's for this month in March. They are reading this book, and I don't think I'm gonna get to read this month, but I do have a plan for April. 2 sentences on the back that I'm gonna read to summarize this. Deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, these women have no memory of how they got there or notion of time. and only vague recollections of their lives before. What the fuck? Sounds terrifying, but I'm also so intrigued to read it. And I saw Chloe and Caitlin started it, and both are loving the writing style, so can't wait to read this next month. Okay, this one I have no plan on how I'm gonna read it anytime soon, but it was so beautiful and probably the most expensive book in this haul, but I had to do it. The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Yeah. Those are the sprayed edges. This was the December 2024 adult fantasy box for Fairy Loot. I don't subscribe to any book boxes, but I bought this off of like a used reseller website because I really wanted this book, but I hate the original cover. It looks like this. I'm sorry, I just really dislike everything we've got going on here. And I wanted to haul this book because Mary E. Pearson is a favorite author. I read 5 of her books and they've all been 5 stars. So my level of excitement is through the roof and I really think I'm gonna love it. So I decided to splurge. Oh my God. Even the end papers go crazy. Wow, 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 wow. So I haven't started this book yet, but I cannot wait for it. It's her first adult book. The 5 that I've read have all been YA, and it was a long time ago, so excited to get reacquainted with her, and I adore my edition. I can't remember who recommended this next one. I think it was Chan from Chandler Ainsley, but it is The Art of Scandal by Regina Black. Okay, and I didn't know anything about this, so I just read the back and it sounds tea. So our main character, Rachel, she discovers that her husband of however many years, 13 years, is cheating on her. He is currently running for mayor and has a mistress, and Rachel is determined not to leave her marriage empty-handed, so they strike a deal that Rachel gets $1 million in their lavish house in wealthy DC suburbs as long as she keeps playing the ideal black trophy wife until the election. So shitty situation for her, but then she meets a handsome 26-year-old man and sparks ignite, so sounds fun and very scandalous. Next book is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I read the first book in this series, Icebreaker, and I think I gave it a 4, maybe a 3.5. I liked it and I own the second book, so honestly I just saw this for really cheap on Book Outlet and decided to throw it in the order, but yeah, I've read the first book, so I need to continue in the series. Next up is the only cozy murder mystery in this stack, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by Jessie Sutano. Erin from Booked and Busy gave this 5 stars, and I know Books and Lala really liked it as well, but it was really Erin who sold me because she never gives 5s, so for her to love this so much, I think it's just gonna be such like a comforting but fun, hilarious murder mystery. And we're following Vera Wong. She's a little old lady, and one morning she trudges downstairs to find a curious thing, a dead man in the middle of her tea shop. And hijinks ensue. I have to be in the mood for it, but I do love a cozy mystery from time to time. Just so comforting and fun. Next up is Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang, and this was also a recommendation from Books and Lala. And our main character is a young musician who enters a beauty-obsessed world. I read the synopsis before I bought it, and it reminded me a lot of Rouge by Mona Awad. And I haven't seen the movie yet either, but I know it won a lot of awards. The substance, you know, I think the beauty industry is a very apt setting for a horror book or a horror movie, and I absolutely loved Rouge, so wanted to pick up a similar vibe but an author that I've never read from before. And then we have another patron book club for the month of April, Chloe's book club. I'll link her down below as well. I'm just linking so many people, but her channel is Chloe Bunny. And in April we are going to be reading Shy Girl. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it in the month of April, but I saw the book, I read the synopsis. Even if I can't read it with everybody else, I still wanted to get it so that I can pick it up soon. And this is definitely one of my favorite covers of the video, like so beautiful. Lonely, broke, and desperate with a serious case of OCD, Gia finds herself at a crossroads when her financial troubles lead her to Nathan, a mysterious and affluent man she encounters on a sugar dating website. So it's a sugar baby horror book. Right over my shoulder is another sugar baby book I read recently by Celine St. Clair. It was a 5 stars. That one was more contemporary literary fiction. So when I heard this one was a similar story but a horror book, I wanted to pick up, and immediately when you open it, there is a warning that says, despite its deceptively cute cover, this book is not a lighthearted romp. Beneath the cover lies a story drenched in disturbing content, including there's so many things it says it's including. So trigger warning for all of those things, but I love a book that looks so cute and wholesome, but is probably going to be disgustingly gross on the inside. Very excited to pick up. Only 4 more books. We have got Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. I have heard so many people talk about this book recently, and there's another book by this author that's always intrigued me as well, called The Sword of Kaigan, which has always been on my Amazon wishlist. I think it's like the first one at the bottom that I ever added. I've just never picked it up, but it's an adult fantasy standalone, which is so rare but so nice to not have to commit to an entire series all the time, which I don't even know if it's the case for this one, but hopefully. But anyway, this is the most recent release by this author. Oh, it is a standalone dark fantasy. Gorgeous. And we're following Sayana. She's gonna be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistry at the University of Magics and Industry. We've got a big old map and red sprayed edges. Love to see it. But yeah, I really just love adding new adult fantasy to my shelves all the time, and I've heard the praise of other people talk about this recently, and I just want to be in on the hype. I told you there was another Rena Kent. We've got Blood of My Monster. It's a romance set in the military. He's my superior and the man who will introduce me to carnage. Ooh. I didn't know this was set in like a war. That's kind of crazy. Clearly I didn't really look into it. I just saw a girly on Reels talk about this one day and it sold me and I immediately hit checkout. But now I have 2 books by this author, 2 different series. If you've read them both, let me know down below which one I should start with, because I don't know which one I'm more intrigued by. Then we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've read Emily Henry's other 4 books and I really like her books. I'm not overly obsessed as I feel like a lot of people are. I wish I was, but I feel like when I read them, I enjoy myself, but I'm not like, oh my god, this is everything. Anyway, the only one I've disliked from her is People We Meet on Vacation. That's the only one I've like unhauled, but I have the other 3 on my shelf in paperback, and I was just waiting for the paperback of this one to come out to purchase my copy. But this isn't even a new release anymore. A lot of people have read this and given it a 5, but I know the plot of this is we've got 2 people who, like our main character, Daphne, she's engaged to her fiance Peter at the beginning of the story, but then Peter cheats on her with another woman who is also in a relationship, and when Daphne finds out, you know, she breaks off her engagement, and Peter and his new lady move in together, and Daphne and that woman's ex also move in together. His name is Miles, and it's a romance between Daphne and Miles. You know, both of them just got cheated on, and the only person who understands what they're going through, they live with. So yeah, sounds like an interesting setup for that story. I'm definitely intrigued to read, and classic Emily Henry, you know, we're gonna be hitting some harder topics, but it'll end with a happily ever after. And then last book, I don't know if I can even technically haul this, but over the last week, I just read the entire Saga series, and I didn't have the 11th one, so I got it from the library to be able to finish that video and get it up. But then I read it and I loved it. I want to continue in the series, so I needed to buy my own copy. So the 11th volume is on my way to my house right now, and I need to return this one to the library, but figured I would throw it in here so we could have a nice round number of 20 books. But anyway, I got all caught up on the entire series. The 12th one is coming out in a couple of months, but that is all the books that I got. It does seem like a lot when I'm going through one by one, but we're averaging 10 books a month, not too shabby. There's a lot of conversations going on right now about like consumerism and book buying and all of that. I don't know if I would ever want to go on a book buying ban. Obviously, I'm a collector of books. I love it. But also, I just don't feel guilty spending my money on that. In the grand scheme of things, there's a lot more expensive things to buy out there. And I like that my money is going to the publishing industry and authors. If I want authors to keep writing my favorite series, I need to be picking them up to give them the opportunity to write. Yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that nobody wanted. I love reading. I love hauling books. I love yapping about the books that I've hauled. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. All of my socials are linked down below like always. And I will see you in my next one very soon. Bye!